Zillow is a noun, a verb, an adjective. It's all those things to people, but it's also, in my mind, it's just culture. Like, we don't think about being a part of the cultural zeitgeist. We are the cultural zeitgeist, and that's one of the things that I love about this brand.
That's Beverly Jackson, the head of marketing, brand, and channel integration at Zillow. And today, she's pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to market the world's most recognized real estate brand.
Marketing is equal parts art and science. And so we bring the science, but the art is the authenticity of who you are and what you are. I'm the kind of marketer that typically comes in when a brand is looking to transform or evolve or looking to do something net new.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of X Factor Marketing. Today, we're sitting down with a lady that I have been stalking to get on the podcast for almost a year. And I am delighted that she found some time in her schedule to join us. You guys, Beverly Jackson is a rock star marketer, and she just does the coolest things. And today she's going to talk about some of the campaigns she's building for a brand you know in the real estate industry and a brand that consumers across the world know. So we're pulling back the curtain and talking marketing with Beverly Jackson. So Beverly, thank you so much for joining us. I purposely held a little back in that intro, but tell us a little bit about what you do and the company that you do it for.
Oh, hi, Wendy. This has been a year in the making. I'm so excited to be here with you. I have the same level of anticipation and energy around this conversation that I had when we first talked about it almost a year ago. So
Yes.
Thank you for making time for me. Thank you for making space for me. And thank you for allowing me to join you and your audience today. So as you mentioned, I lead marketing, brand, and channel integration at Zillow. It is and the things that I've done over the course of my career, it is probably one of the highlights of my career. What a beloved brand. What a brand that means so much to people, is such an important part of their life. And whether it's aspiration and inspiration, or whether it's the practical, tactical aspects of trying to make home a reality, what an amazing brand to be able to touch and lean into. And so I'm so excited about having the opportunity to represent some 350 marketers that make this a part of what they love every day in their marketing career. So it's an honor besides a beyond.
It is amazing. And from a marketer's lens, like what you all have created in terms of creating the brand of Zillow is remarkable. Like Zillow has become not only a household name, but it's become a verb, it's become a noun, it's become an adjective, it's become just part of our lives. So Zillow just turned 20 years old. What has that been like from building the brand from those early days up until today?
So that's a great question, Wendy. But think about it this way, right? Zillow is a noun, a verb, an adjective. It's all those things to people, but it's also, in my mind, it's just culture. Zillow is a part of the culture. We don't think about being a part of the cultural zeitgeist. We are the cultural zeitgeist. And that's one of the things that I love about this brand. I'd love to tell you what it was like 20 years ago, but sadly, I wasn't here when they started all of this. And so I stand on the shoulders of some incredible, remarkable people that built this thing. And so, I'm the kind of marketer that typically comes in when a brand is looking to transform or evolve or looking to do something net new. And so this moment in time, this moment in history of having an opportunity to continue to nurture and give life to and bring to life and deliver on that original promise, purpose that was built by Lloyd and Rich and then followed up with Jeremy and Ravi and that team of folks is truly an honor. So when I think about what we're doing to make the next 20 years the promise of all things good, is actually evolving the brand and its role in culture. That's the way I think about it. It's where do we show up in moments that matter for people? Because when you think about the original idea of turning the lights on in real estate and making customers our North Star, those are marketing principles. Those aren't even product or business principles. Those are in fact things that are core to what good marketing is all about. And so I'm really fortunate that that is the foundation that Zillow has sat on for 20 years. And when I think about being able to take that to the next level, that's what I'm excited about.
That is exciting. Also challenging. So when
Yeah.
you mentioned sort of coming in and building the brand on the shoulders of, a brand that has become culture. I mean, that's a lot to carry. So how do you think about that of building that next chapter without losing that authenticity of what the brand has been built on?
Yeah. I think I'm super fortunate in that the folks who built this are still around. So I get to learn from them. I get to listen to them. I get
I'm
to,
sure they give feedback along the way.
there's a little feedback, a little
Yeah, just
feedback.
a little feedback.
What is it that they say? Feedback is a gift. So
Yes.
I take it and receive it. But I also love that they allow me to provoke and prod and push and pull at the fabric of something that they've built. And so I get to stretch that. Like the teams, like when we think about like for example, Someday Starts Today, which is the new platform that we
Yes, I
just
want to talk about that next. Yes.
we'll talk about that, right? But
Yeah.
like imagine being allowed to build the next chapter of Zillow with a brand new platform that sort of leaves a little bit of the legacy in the past, but allows us to push forward into our new future. And it is a challenge, like you said, that every marketer wants. Now, I'm not sure that every marketer is like having like some brilliant founder look over their shoulder and go like, what is that you're doing over there to my brand? Like what's
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah.
But
I can imagine.
but I accept that challenge, right? Because when you stand with people who actually are trying to do something important and significant and trying to solve a problem that is real to real people and important to their lives, like housing, like shelter, the idea of like bringing that technology, bringing the cultural relevance of that brand, and then bringing just good marketing together as like a three-legged stool, that stuff's important. And no one at Zillow sort of walks away from that. Like everybody leans into that. And the more opportunity you can bring the brand to the into significance of the people that are building the products and that are challenging the norm,
Mhm.
the easier it is to actually make change and make it be impactful. I
Wow.
mean, that feels floaty, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
no, that is super impactful. So you mentioned Someday Starts Today. Love the commercials. Love that you launched them during the Grammys. I can only imagine that that's kind of a moment as a marketer to launch. I'm going to say a campaign, but I want to circle back to that. So tell us about the Someday Starts Today, and then tell us about how you haven't framed it as a campaign. You framed it as a platform, because I think as marketers, that's a very interesting pivot. So tell us about the Someday Starts Today sort of concept, and then tell us about this idea that it's not a campaign, it is a platform.
So two things, right, that you probably know about me is I worked at the Grammys for 5 or 6 years. And so I led partnership marketing and social and digital and a bunch of other marketing opportunities at the Grammys. And so for me, this was so like full circle to see one of my dreams and my loves meet another of my dreams and my loves. So it was a big moment for me,
I
just
bet.
personally and professionally. So
And were
super
you
excited.
there? Like, were you there live?
I was out of the country.
Oh no.
On
I had
vacation.
this image that you were there and
I have spent more time on red carpets in high heel shoes than anyone should have to do. So anytime that I can watch it from afar in the comfort of my home or on my device, I'm always up for that. But it was a really important and proud moment, just getting our team there and then having the Grammy folks sort of welcome us into that ecosystem. Super
Mhm.
important, very proud moment. Okay, so also this idea of like a new platform,
Yes.
not a campaign,
Yes.
is important because you do launch a platform with a campaign. Like I got to tell you about it, I got to help you understand it, I got to visualize it for you. I've got to make films, not I say I, and the I is the
Yes.
collective
Yes. The
I of
greater
all.
I
Yes,
of your
the
team.
greater I. I'm just honored to be a part of that group of folks. But like that isn't for us to just think about and hold for ourselves. So we do need a campaign that sort of brings together how we talk to you on all the various channels. It brings all the products to life. It brings the brand promise to life. And it shows you in the films and in some of the other stories that we tell on other channels how and why this matters. So let's talk about why a platform, right? So someday starts today. You and I both know, I don't have to tell you, you are an expert times 10 on this. Buying a home is hard.
It's hard.
Moving is hard. It's challenging. The macro is challenging. And trying to figure out what your first step, what your next step should be, ought to be. Am I ready? Can I get ready? This is so overwhelming. It's complex. It's challenging. And it is, other than perhaps when and if you start a family, or when and if you and who you pick as your partner, probably one of the most important decisions you'll make in the course of your life, right? Especially if you're doing it alone or with someone else. Housing and home have become even more important lately as we start to think about the generational aspects of it. Our lives have become more complicated. The reality of the market is more complicated. And so when do you start? Where do you start? What's the right move? Am I ready? Am I ready to rent a different kind of place? Is a community that I build in my rental environment important? Or how do I make the jump from being a renter to a buyer? How do I put my house on the market if my family is now ready to move on to the next thing? Or my life is downsizing. Someday starts today for everyone. And everyone has a someday that begins at their unique moment. And so when we say a platform, just like many other platforms from brands that you know and you love, it does mean that we're wrapping you in, we're leaning in, we're engaging you, we're supporting you in what your someday looks like. And so the goal is not to just get you to do something with a cool, catchy phrase or catch line or
Yeah,
tagline,
tagline.
but also to meet you where you are for your moment, and recognizing that for a company of our size and our scale, being able to create every individual, to offer to every individual a bespoke moment of where we can meet you where you are right now in your journey. And that's something that's unique to Zillow, right? Like that's something that's that's a differentiator for us because of our scale. We're able to understand that all these people that come to us, all these consumers that come to us every day are looking for something.
Yes.
And how do we meet them where they are personally? And that it feels personal to you,
And
that
it
you feel seen and heard.
does feel so personal. Like even just listening to you, I forgot for a second I had to be thinking about the questions we were supposed to be asking. Like I got the goosebumps, right? 'Cause when you watch the commercials,
Mhm.
you feel how personal it is at all those different moments and some of the wording potential into possible, data into direction, like those in between moments. The language was so intentional,
It was intentional.
but it spoke to the core of the emotions we feel, not the coldness of a transaction,
That's
which
right.
is often the direction that marketing goes. And we spend a lot of time talking to agents about the emotional part of the transaction. So to give some advice
Yep.
to agents, you're an expert marketer. Some of these principles that you've used in guiding the platform and the direction of this amazing brand that Zillow is, what are some of those principles in practice that agents could be thinking about for their businesses?
Sure. I think, there's a point here where marketing has become very performance oriented.
Mhm.
And so we produce marketing assets that are designed to drive an action or a reaction because we have become transactional. One of the things about this platform that I find really just like heartwarming, is the idea that it is the story behind the transaction.
Mhm.
Yes, you can buy a home. Yes, you can sell a home. Yes, you can move from one apartment to a three-bedroom apartment. You can rent a house. There's so many ways that you can make home a reality for you
Mhm.
beyond the asset that is connected to the platform to get you to take an action that drives something that we can measure.
Right.
So there are humans behind these
Mhm.
stories. There are human behind these transactions. The first one we start with is data. And I always say this, like we talk about like what's the data, what are the metrics, what are the KPIs of the work. I always am really fascinated, interested, compelled to push us past the data point to the point we get to an insight. What's the breakthrough moment? Because in the insight is where I get to tell a story that is likely to resonate with you.
Oh,
And
that's
so
so good. So in the data leads you to the insight, which leads you to the story that will resonate.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And then and so then I can build confidence and
Mhm.
trust with you
Mhm.
that I heard you and that you feel seen. And then if I can reflect that back to you in a way that is meaningful. So let's take one of the pieces for example. There's a famous song, and I'm going to do this an injustice. It says that love grows in small spaces.
Mhm.
And so there's one of the films talks about the family, the two kids and the dog, the mom and the dad are trying to do stuff, and dad's cooking dinner and mom's at the table doing work, and the kids are jumping over things and stuff is breaking and the dog is barking. Love does grow in small spaces, but
Yeah.
at a point in time, you need a place to put advantage of
Yeah.
additional space because at some point everybody sort of breaks out of the seams.
Yeah.
There's that piece. There is the piece that and there's a lot of data that says families will move or they will look to move to their next house when they feel or they are sort of impacted by some sort of a life moment
Mhm.
where they need to do something different,
Right. There's
right?
some sort of trigger event that happens in life that says it's
And
time. We got to make
yes,
this
those
happen.
those life moments. And so
Yeah.
we know from data that life moments drive an action. But then we have to figure out what are the actions that are most likely to drive a transaction or
Mhm.
where people start to see themselves in that. And so you think about the story of the mother who, more moms work from home than ever before. A lot of times the moms are the breadwinners in the family. There are lots of working women all across this country, and they're also still moms. And
Yeah.
they want to see their kids to bed and they want to put
Yes.
their kids to bed. And so all of a sudden, this mom is like doing the stuff that she does 8 to 10 hours every day. She's getting in the car, getting on the train, and she's rushing across town. And her kids are already asleep. And that doesn't feel good, right? And
Mhm.
so we know that the data says it. We know that there's this insight. And so how does your commute play into where you live? And then how do I tell a story that feels like you've been seen and heard? Because no one likes to feel like I'm thinking it, I'm feeling it, and no one sees me.
Right. Right.
And so we
Nobody
take that.
understands it.
Nobody understands
Yeah.
my struggle, Wendy.
That's
Nobody
right.
understands my struggle.
Nobody gets
So
me.
the idea of being able to take the data that
Mhm.
comes from what people search for on the platform, use our economic data to power, to find, to bring to light an insight, and then to have that materialize in the story and show up in the work so that the person who's on the other side of that search feels seen and heard.
Yes.
Because now I can take an action. You hear me in my someday. My someday is visible and obvious to you.
Yes.
So for me, my someday then does start today because you
Yeah.
now see me, right?
And that superpower is a superpower that all real estate professionals have, is that ability to take that data and make that connection back to the action of the buyer or the seller, the searcher, right? That
Sure.
is dreaming of that someday.
Yep. And you think about what agents, the agent community, agent professionals really, really good at is they know their communities.
Yes.
Real estate is one street at a time, one neighborhood at a time, one school district at a time, one bus stop connection away from a train stop, one freeway exit from another. The difference, I lived in, I won't say, but in a part of the country where traffic is challenging for a
Mhm.
while, for a long time. And the difference between two freeway exits
Oh, that can be an hour, right? Like that's an hour of your
Hours.
day.
Could mean hours. I remember there was a point where my husband was commuting 3 hours a day from our home to his office. So it was an hour and a half each way. When we moved, he got back 20 hours a week of his life. We are grateful for our real estate agent every day for helping make that a reality for us because
Yes.
that changed our lives. That
Yeah.
changed our lives, right? Like, the ability to get home to be able to pick up your kids from daycare. Real estate agents know that in a way that is way more powerful than what you see when you're trying to bring that to life. And
Yes.
so for me, it's the data, it's the insights, it's the stories that we're able to tell, and then it's connecting that to an agent who also understands that, who's also dealing with that.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. So, how should agents be using Zillow tools? And not just in terms of generating leads, because I think that tends to be the, oh yeah, Zillow leads. But in addition to that, how should agents be thinking about Zillow in terms of helping them build their brand?
Sure. I think one of the, you asked me early on about like what was my job and what is my work here at Zillow. And so a lot of the public facing work that I do is sort of the B2C stuff. My B2C team and the folks on our creative team and Studio Z and our media team, they all are focused on this massive audience we have a responsibility to, right?
Mhm.
But with our B2B audience or our professional real estate audience is a very different animal, a very different beast. We're helping agents build business to create livelihoods that sustain them for generations. And
Yeah.
so for them, the services, the offers, the tools, just the promise that we owe to them is different. And so it's like we think about like what are the things you need to do for your business to be successful? Do you need a CRM system? Do you need leads? Are leads the only things that you use?
Mhm.
Do you need AI powered tools to help you manage the scale and growth of your business? Do you need an environment where you can write and respond to emails, where you can track everything and get that information back and forth to your loan officer and to your customers? We think about this all the time as an example of you have more co-shoppers now than you've ever had before.
Yes.
It used to be a mom and a dad go off to buy a house in search of the kids, but now kids have a say in it because it affects their school. It affects their after school activities. It affects what they do, where their friends are, their social circle. It affects their after school care. Roommates buy places. My two sisters are buying a place, and I don't know what that looks like, Wendy, but I'm living
That
there in
could
the
be a
process.
whole other podcast, I feel like.
As long as they're not living with me, but I've already warned our real estate agent that like they have two very different lives. They're co-shoppers. And
Mhm.
so real estate agents need tools that allow them to flex and grow their businesses that are core to what they are trying to do. And so whether you're a listing agent or a seller agent, whether you need leads, whether you're a team lead, those things are all important. And so things like Zillow Pro and some of the other tools that we're bringing to market resonate with agents because they're designed to build their business. We will continue to be the marketplace for consumers, and we'll tell great stories and we'll build platforms and we'll have tools and resources for them to come into the ecosystem. And we'll do amazing marketing work, whether it's top of funnel marketing or bottom of funnel marketing to drive consideration and transactions. We'll continue to do that. We've done that for 20 years. But what we will also do is to help real estate agents build tangible, real, sustainable, viable businesses with the tools and resources they need to grow.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. That's great. I got a closing question for
Okay.
you. What do you think your X factor as a marketer is?
Oh, that's such a great question. I love that. Is that why you named this the X Factor?
It
I get it.
is. It is because I believe we all have an X factor, that superpower that makes us special, that we bring to everything that we do. So what is your X factor?
My X Factor is without question my authenticity. I am who I am, my story, my experience, my journey is what I bring to the work every day. It is what I bring to every problem that we try to solve, every campaign that's built, every story that's told. It is the perspective that I've earned over time. And sometimes it's right, and sometimes it's wrong, and sometimes it's too much, and sometimes it needs to be throttled back because nobody wants too much Beverly all the time. Uh, because that can be a lot. But the reality is that when you show up in a place as yourself, with your journey, your experience, your exposure, what it does for you, what it allows you to do is to show up in a way that drives the most impact. Because every marketer's journey starts and ends with their technical experience, their accomplishment, but also the personal journey that they bring to it. Because remember, marketing is equal parts art and science. And so we bring the science, but the art is the authenticity of who you are and what you are. And so that's my superpower. I just wake up every day and try to be the best me I can possibly be and do the best job I can possibly do.
Well, that is a pretty awesome you, and that is an amazing X factor. And I remind everyone listening, and I tell this to audiences all the time, that we are all marketers.
Yes.
So you and I have that label because
Yep.
it's attached to us as
Yep.
the professionals and what we do. But every one of us is a marketer. So I encourage everyone listening to think of yourself as a marketer and lean into your own superpower of authenticity every single day and just channel your inner Beverly. That's what I'm leaving everyone with, is channel your inner Beverly. Beverly, thank you so much for joining us on the
Oh,
podcast. I so appreciate it.
thank you so much, Wendy. I appreciate you. Have an amazing day.